Welcome back. We'll get this piece in the car and see how it fits. With everything marked out, the next thing to do is to cut the split in the dashboard, take it out, do all the trim work, refit it and see how it looks. Now that I have the bulk of the dash in, there's not a massive amount I can do before I start building up the internal parts that hold the display itself. However, I can simply finish off the corners. One thing I can do is make the fascia for this display, so the piece that will sit at the front that the dash will be sat inside. This looks a little messy, so I've made a redesign. I've got a nice straight bottom edge now, which will go somewhere around there. Now that I have the bulk of the dashboard laid out, I can move on to some other jobs. Getting the dashboard set up now will help me ultimately, so I know where all the electrics can be hidden underneath the dash. I still need to figure out if I'm going to get a heated windscreen or in fact get a heater system in the car. I will now move on to the fuel system. I need to dry fit the tank and figure out where I'm going to reroute the fuel lines. In order to test fit the tank, I need to take the rear subframe assembly off with the diff and the rear brakes. It makes sense to take them apart while I'm doing that just to check the condition of them. that I will be using a hydraulic handbrake. I no longer need the original handbrake cables for the rears. Not the most fun job in the world. Because it has a rubber coating, I need to be careful not to peel it all off. There are a couple of marks, but overall it's pretty good. Now to have the fuel tank in place, I can now start planning the layout of the fuel system. I want to have a swirl pot and an external pump which will be sat in the back here. Moving on from the fuel system for now, I want to address this area here. The integration between the rear bumper and the quarter panel doesn't look right. I want to add a piece that ties it in well. It will be made out of aluminium and can be riveted straight to the quarter, so there's no more fiberglass work needed. Because these pieces will eventually be sprayed on the bumper, I just have to sand them down with 600 grit so I don't have to sand it when it's all bent in shape on the bumper. The next job to do is to make the flat plate on the bottom, which will fasten to the bumper and to this outer piece. Well, I don't think that's supposed to happen. I've just broken the tripod. I'll end this episode now. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.